Hello, my name is John Walsh from Alpha Drives and welcome to this guide on the Siemens G120 VSD. In this demonstration we will cover the main components, installation and configuration. The Siemens G120 VSD contains three different sections: the power unit, the control unit and the IOP interface. Now, the power module contains a line in and line out voltage supply to your motor, usually three-phase. Within this power module you have three sections: a rectification stage, a filter stage and a converter stage. The rectification stage is where the incoming AC voltage is converted to DC. It then passes through the filter stage to get rid of any ripples. This also has a capacitor to eliminate any short power sags in the system. Lastly, it goes through a converter stage where the DC waveform is shaped by a bank of fast-acting transistors to simulate an AC waveform. This waveform is actually DC pulses of varying width and frequency to enable precise control of the motor speed and torque. Secondly, we have the control unit. Now, the CU240E in this particular case is the most common control unit. There are others that have increased safety functions and others, for example, that are optimized for more pumps, fans and compressors. Now, the control unit handles all the control functions: communication to higher level PLCs if they're being used, and parameter settings for the drive. It has a card containing inputs and outputs. Digital inputs, for example, to start the motor, stop it and reverse it, as well as analog inputs to control the speed of the motor by way of an analog signal from a potentiometer or a sensor monitoring line pressure for pump control. There are also safety functions. So you have safe inputs here to connect up to an emergency stop. This is called safe torque off, and when the stop is activated, the motor stops and the motor will not restart until the situation is acknowledged and safely restarted. Lastly, we have the IOP interface. The IOP interface is simply used to enter the parameters required into the control card and to control everything on the VSD, and it stores all the information in the control card as well. Now, once all your incoming and outgoing power cables are connected to the motor, we connect up our control unit and IOP interface as is. So, every motor has a nameplate with its details of power, speed, rotations a minute, frequency, current, and so on. So firstly, we navigate to the settings. We go to a quick setup. In this particular case, I'm going to keep my current settings to save time. So here is where we enter all our motor nameplate data. The very top, it's 50 Hertz. It's an inductive motor. Supply voltage is 220 volts. Again, we can go into any one of these and just vary them up and down. So we carry on down. The motor current, 0.97 amps as listed here. Motor power, 0.18 kilowatts. Motor speed, maximum here on the nameplate is 1350 RPM. Motor voltage, single phase in this case. The motor frequency is 50 Hertz. Minimum speed is 0. Maximum speed is 1350. And now we're into ramp up time. Now the ramp up time is just the time taken to reach maximum speed of whatever setting you actually have. Again, you can change that for anything you want. For example, if you wanted to change it to 5 seconds, we can do that as well. That's fine. Let me just zoom out of that. So that's just the time taken to reach maximum speed. There's also ramp down time as well. In this particular case is 10 seconds. Now we go into our IO setup to set up all the inputs here and what we want to do. Now the IOP2 interface contains macros. This will save a lot of engineering time. So it gives different various scenarios. So for example, you have a conveyor with 2 fixed set points for speed. conveyor with basic safety functions, conveyor with 4 fixed set points for speed, and so on. So basically you just choose whichever one you want to use. In our particular case here, we have standard inputs and outputs with an analog setup, as we have a potentiometer here to control the speed, and we also have an emergency stop for safety functions. So we're going to choose that there, and then we're going to exit out here. So we just save the settings. It just takes a moment or two. And once all that is done, we can test our motor to make sure everything is functioning. On doing this for the first time, it will do a motor ID check as well, but as the settings are entered already and this VSD has already been up and running, it's not asking us to do that. So we will start and test our motor here now. The digital input, we can vary and increase the speed and decrease the speed with the potentiometer. As I say, the macros really save time in going into every single parameter and setting it up. Now we'll test our emergency stop also. We get a message on the screen saying a safety state has been activated, or conveyor is off, for example. We deactivate the emergency stop and it restarts safely on a digital input, and that's how it's actually set up. Now, there are also other functions as well. So, for example, if you want to test your motor, you can, if you arrive to site and there's a problem, for example, you can just put it into hand auto mode, meaning you can take direct control of the motor from here. So you can turn on your motor. You can vary the speed by just increasing the dial like so. And you can stop it then. And don't forget to release the hand-off auto. From here we can go into various diagnostics. Let me see, we can escape out of that here. The diagnostics. You can check the status of your inputs and outputs. Status of your digital inputs. So for example, if you see your motor turn on digital input 0, digital input 1 we're not using at all, you can see, for example, the emergency stop is connected up at the moment and functioning on the inputs there, 4 and 5. So you can also test the inputs of our potentiometer. So here, likewise. Now, just exit back out, and we've programmed and set up our G120 VSD. That is the end of our tutorial. Thank you for watching from all at Alpha Drives. If you have any questions or need further training, do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you.